Mortal Kombat! They're rebooting the Mortal Kombat franchise with a new movie in 2021, shot in our very own backyard in South Australia, which is super exciting. So we're going to take a look at the new images released for the movie, and we're also going to go back and watch the original trailer and, just chat about the epicness and awesomeness that is Mortal Kombat. Hi, my name's JP. This is the War On channel. I've been a Mortal Kombat fan since the beginning, and originally released in arcades and then on kind of Sega and Nintendo consoles. And it was a game and a franchise always built on controversy. There was nothing like it at the time. It was just super violent, super over the top. You know, they invented the fatality and all these kind of crazy things, babalities. And it's just kind of grown and it's just stayed really popular up until the games that they've released recently. And if you go back to some of the original games, on the Nintendo in particular, they actually launched some versions of it without any blood or gore whatsoever. And they did that because Nintendo had a really family-based audience, and it just goes to show how controversial that this kind of game was at the time. So the original movie released in 1995, and as a kid I used to watch this thing over and over, and it was just a really kind of, at least in my mind, a perfect rendition of those characters and seeing them on the big screen coming together in the story. The sequel wasn't great, Mortal Kombat Armageddon, but it just had so many things about it that just kind of worked, and not because they were great from a cinematic point of view, but just because they were great, kind of fan moments, like the song. We can still remember that. It just comes to the top of my head instantly. It was just so contagious, the way that was written, and it just had this great energy about it. So, look, it's hard to go back and watch that trailer now because that movie is really cheesy. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do with this new film. And it promises to be the Mortal Kombat movie that we've always wanted. Like, they're going to really lean into that R rating. And they're going to do the blood and the gore, and they're going to do it right. And it's going to be gritty, and it's going to be, kind of connected to a reality that we can relate to now. So let's jump in and have a look at some of the kind of key images released. So what we can gather from the storyline, this is our key character called Cole, and he's going to be a washed-up MMA fighter trying to taste victory again. So really cool premise, and again, that moment, that kind of storyline that we can relate to in 2021. Yeah, and you can see here, this looks like an octagon. It could be a UFC match. It feels gritty. You can sort of feel the energy and the aggression and the passion coming from the fighters in that image. This looks like Sonya. This looks like Sub-Zero. You can just see some of that gore coming in. Oh no, we've lost the image. Got to remember to stop doing that. Shouldn't be zooming on these things. Let me get this back up. Here we go again. So we've got Liu Kang, and I think it's Kun Lao, Max Huang, as Liu Kang. And you can see him here, he's just kind of conjuring up that fireball, which is super cool. And Kun Lao, that character, that hat of his, it's kind of like a blade, so he'd pick it off and frisbee it at his opponents, and it would just kind of spin around and cut through their torso. So gory. So these guys look like they might be the main protagonists. Well, that looks like, could even be Cole. Hard to know. So this is Jax. So he's kind of got the cyborg arms, and they're super powerful, and he just kind of pummels you. He looks cool. The mustache is an interesting choice, but this could be Kane. I think he was kind of like a bad guy. He's got that kind of part of his face cut away, and you can see some metal coming through. Looks like that could be him. And obviously F-Zero, the most iconic of them all, and just kind of creating that ice, and that looks awesome. In the original movie, that ice was just this kind of blue, misty thing, and I guess we'll see that when we kind of watch that old trailer. But yeah, he looks good. He's got the right gaze. His helmet looks cool as well. Lots of nice texture details. Yeah, so that's some of the key art release. So yeah, I think what's great about this film is the fact they are shooting it in South Australia. So South Australia, for those that don't know, hasn't really been seen a lot on film. It's not known for a lot of big budget production, but it's got some really kind of picturesque and beautiful landscapes. So it'll give this film a really unique, I think, gritty look as well, and some things that we haven't seen and locations we haven't seen in other major films before. So promises to be a really great take on the franchise. So what I thought we'd do next is just dive in and watch the original trailer, and it's an epic, epic trailer. Don't laugh too much. God, these movies look muddy, don't they now?
In each of us, there burns the fury of a warrior. In every generation,
I still think they did a great job of bringing these characters to life.
One of you,
Based on the games, it's got
the outcome of the tournament.
Three
a
strangers
lot of the same kind of voice works. You just instantly familiar.
will travel to the mystical realm of
at these sets.
Outworld to defend
Bet
our
they built
people
those for real.
against Shang Tsung
You will die.
Shang Tsung.
and his forces of darkness.
Dodgy special effects. Kano.
One more victory,
All right.
Your soul is mine.
and our world
Johnny
is
Cage.
theirs.
It has begun.
Scorpion. These special effects are just awful.
You can't run from me, Shang. I don't need to run.
The iconic theme song. It's a good beat.
Combat begins.
So there we go. I think that movie still hits pretty hard. Look, I can't wait to see the first trailer for this. It's going to give us even more of a sense as to what this is about. I think I'm going to go play me some Mortal Kombat now. Fatality!